Puis ici?
Non, c'est moi.
C'est toi, hein?
C'est moi. J'ai fait un pont.
Oui, il est bon. C'est la mer, ça, que tu vois. C'est beau. C'est un des beaux dessins que tu as fait, ça.
An improbable trio. Jean-Paul, an old man of about 70, no one knows his exact age, Raphael, and Pierre-Henri, an artist who brought them together. Pierre-Henri is president of Les Enfants, an art workshop for mentally handicapped patients. He's worked with people like Jean-Paul for 7 years. And after all that time, he began to wonder what would happen if he brought a child into the workshop. That's where Raphael comes in. She was 5 years old at the time, the daughter of artists. Henri paired her with Jean-Paul, a Duplessis orphan, born in an age when Quebec banished people with mental handicaps.
He spent most of his life in an institution. I don't know if he was in a cell or in a room, but from the age of about 6 till he was over 50 years old, I guess he was in the hospital.
Lorraine Pellardi runs Les Impatients. Jean-Paul, she says, was the first person to use the workshop. We just didn't realize that he had never been in contact with children. It's incredible, but that was his life, an orphan, separated from his family at about the age of 6. He never saw them again. The first time Jean-Paul and Raphael met, the child was a bit of a mystery to the old man.
There was a long, long table in the studio, so they automatically sat one on each side, each end of the table, so they were as far apart as you could be. Then there was a communication you could see that was going on anyway, because Raphael drew a sun in a corner of her drawing, and Jean-Paul drew a sun, although he was too far to see what she was doing, really, which I found amazing.
By the second session, they'd moved a little closer. By the third, they were sharing crayons.
He developed a real soft spot for Raphael.
Jean-Paul lives very much in a world of his own, but when Raphael came into his life, he started sharing that world with her.
When you're 5, everything is normal. But right away, she saw that there was something that was not quite the same, and she made allowances for it. She invented games to get close to Jean-Paul, to communicate with him. She had him laugh, she had him sing, she played tricks on him. And at the end, she's almost the one who took me by the hand and took me to Jean-Paul's planet.
Raphael also supported Jean-Paul. When he had trouble drawing a star, she sprang to his defense. It's a different kind of star, she said. Both Jean-Paul and Raphael approached art the same way, innocently, without inhibition, even with the baggage that Jean-Paul carries.
My theory is that little kids are all artists. When you're 5-year-old, you get a pencil and you do a painting, a picture right away. It's something that we all have and something that most of us lose eventually. And I don't quite know why we lose it. If it's because of education, is it something takes that away from us, and it comes back to some people. Picasso said it took him a lifetime to learn to draw like a child. And some people never lose it. Like Jean-Paul has the freedom to express himself like a child, which is quite fascinating.
In the end, Pierre-Henri learned a lot from his experiment. He learned that the art was secondary. It was the instant friendship between a man who had never known a child and a bright artistic girl that made it a success. Lorraine Pellardi sums it up like this. The sort of love wrapped around this project was absolutely extraordinary. There was a chemistry that developed between generations. Here was an old man with a mental handicap who lived alone, a professional artist struggling to understand that old man, and a little girl who wrapped them both up in her own universe. For Midday, I'm Ray Fichaud.